Oh, I'm pop. Anyways, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a corncob pipe. Now, first thing I'm going to say is, this video is not about smoking. Smoking is inherently harmful to you. There are herbal smoking blends that use various herbs that help along expectoration, meaning you cough up stuff if there's stuff in your lungs. But overall, if you're a non-smoker, then it's not recommended that you start smoking herbal stuff just because. Some people smoke herbal varieties, herbal blends for to lessen their dependence on nicotine, on cigarettes. So that's one way to look at it. I've got some links below on some herbal studies, recipes, and basically, you know, the inspiration for this corncob pipe. This is not the first one I've made. I made one some years ago, and I ended up actually a friend of mine had it, an old friend of mine had it, and he unexpectedly passed away. I think it was 2 years ago. So, never got it back. So anyways, I'm going to show you how to make this. Also include a recipe for an herbal smoking blend, but again, like I'm going to say, I'm not an herbalist. If you're going to indulge in such a thing, that's your choice. And I'm not condoning that you go out and smoke things and mess up your lungs and you know, mess with other people's breathing air, secondary smoke, etc., etc. There again, like I said, there are herbal remedies for certain respiratory conditions, and I implore you to look that up and do your own research on that. So again, this is with a strong caveat. Anyways, I have a blend that I will share, excuse me, of mullein leaf. Mullein is a known respiratory herb, and both as a tea or a tincture, as a syrup, and does help. I've taken mullein to help my issues. This is a mullein, horehound, peppermint leaf, and a few drops of honey and water to keep it moist, and then I keep it in the refrigerator. And you know, and so you know, I just take it and I kind of pack it in here like this, just to show you that the pipe does work. They're kind of cool, and these are from corn cobs from the garden that we had last year, and they you know, you want fairly large size corn cob to use, and you want to have it dried out. This has been drying out for a few months now, and then I sanded it and shaped it, and then hollowed it out, and then stuck a tube in there, which is a Phragmites stem. It's easy to poke the pith out. Phragmites is not a poisonous plant, and if you're going to use a natural plant, do your research. Don't use locust, or you don't want to use a pine branch or anything like that. But the trick is to hollow it out. I used a metal hanger that I can just take the pith and poke it out. I think you could probably use cattail stalk as a stem, or as a stove pipe for your pipe. And you know, but the cattail stems can be a little flimsy, but they have a pithy center that you can poke out. And there's other plants, mullein, there's one of them that you could poke out the pithy stem. So that's kind of the characteristics that you want to look for. I'll leave a link for the inspiration below as well, if you want to look at how that's done. Professional corncob pipe makers will let the corncobs dry out so that the pithy center gets really hard for about a year or so, a couple of years, or whichever. So it's kind of a fun little project. Again, if you are a smoker, this might be interesting to you. If you are a non-smoker, ignore this. You know, like I said, I'm not I'm not advocating that people go out and start smoking. So anyways, this is how it works. So it works. So here you go. It's corncob pipe, and you know I don't use this very often, if at all. I live in a non-smoking place. Soon, hopefully, I'll be able to get my own place. Hopefully, crossing my fingers. But anyways, you just go outside if this is something that's bothering people, or if you live in a place where it's non-smoking. So don't get yourself in trouble. Don't start smoking if you don't. But if you're interested in making corncob pipe, I'm going to show you how to do it. So we have some Phragmites stand that's kind of sparse right now. It might have been more robust some months ago before winter hit, but I'm able to get what I need here for my projects here. Phragmites are very useful. You'll see them on the side of the road oftentimes, and again, you can see there's a freeway out there, and it's interesting for me for when I'm in the passenger side of a car going on the freeway. I'm always looking outside of the window, looking at stuff to see, oh, there's that, there's this, there's, you know, I can harvest that, oh great, there's a stand over here, blah blah blah. So anyways, Phragmites, they have the nice little stalks up there, make very good useful items, grass items. So I'm out here just taking some time real quick after work, getting some harvested goods so that I can complete a project. So here we have a corn cob that's been sitting probably about 4 or 5, 6 months actually. And you can take a piece of sandpaper and kind of rub it down how you want to see fit. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of shape it and see if we can get something that's a decent size. We don't need something this long. I mean, I would reckon this is probably about 2.5, 3 feet, 2.5, 3 inches long. So we can take this and kind of sand this, because at the end of the day, there's a core. It's a pit that apparently people that make these commercially, they're gonna let these sit for about 2-3 years. This has been sitting for a few months, drying out within the house. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of shave this down a little bit just to make it look pretty. It doesn't have to, but why not? Alright, so this corn cob that I've had sitting for a few months, just braided it down a little bit, and so now I'm going to try to cut it so that it is, towards the bottom here, and we can always shape the bottom so you can see what you're working with as far as the corn cob is concerned. And so we don't want, we want about right there, I think. So I'm gonna cut that off, and we gotta bore into the insides here. So I've cut this corn cob a little bit, so I'm going to braid it. Again, sandstone or rough rock or whatever,
making a pipe, then yeah. If you're trying to make a pipe, then you're probably way beyond using sandstone or anything like that. So primitive tech kind of, and we primitively will do this. So we have nice even sort of profile. Okay. So for me, this is where it gets precarious, because this starts to create a perfect bowl, but we have to drill deep and sort of using power tools. And one could do that. You know, you could put some vice grips on here and take a nice big drill bit and drill down and, you know, whatever. That's an option. I'm going to take my little cutting tool, my little blade, and kind of bore a hole probably about an inch down, or as long as I can get it. And then we're going to probably do some other things to go deeper to make our bowl within this corn cob here. All right. So we have our pith here. The corn cob has a real dense pith here, and so I can take my tool here that has a nice little chisel tip, and I can kind of start to bore a hole. You know, I'm gonna just kind of start to kind of bore a little hole in this, just a little bit. You know, and yeah, it's actually easy. It's actually relatively easy to carve out if you have a sharp tool. And it's kind of a start to kind of bore out. The pith starts to get kind of tough, you know. So it's only so far you can get down in there. But it's a start. And so I recommend having a big corn cob at the end of the day. Have a big one, you know, a thick one. And the way this is, excuse me, the way that this is shaped is it's a chisel, so it's going to be real like narrow at the point and then wide at the tip. So we can do our best to kind of get down in there, or whatever other tool you have. Again, I want to be agnostic on tools. You don't want to always be like, oh, I must have this tool to do blah. No, it's just whatever's going to do the job. Whatever's going to do that work, how they say, how the cool kids say now, right? So whatever's going to do that work. All right. So so this is kind of what we're working with here, and it's a start, but we can go further. I'm going to switch cameras and see if we can go further. So I'm trying to create a deeper bowl using my mullen hand drill, and I think it's working out, but I'm using my feet as a vise or as a grip, so I'm gonna keep going, but I'm not able to get it as tight as I want to. I gotta get between the balls of my feet and hold the corn cob in place. And go down so that I can drill decent depth. I can probably do it one more time. Hold my feet together tightly. Do it again. So I think I have a pretty decent deep bowl, but that's just the thing about bushcraft, is when you think you have enough, you gotta go a little bit more. You gotta get a little bit more. So let's see if we can get a little bit more. So I think what we have is a pretty decent depth. I can stick this in here and we'll examine it later as to how far down this is and what we're dealing with. But it's pretty hot, and it's working out. That may work for us, I reckon this may work for us. So we can widen the bowl a little bit, see what happens. So yeah.